So Dan, let's get out of the gates on this topic. So why are IUID labels so important?
Well, I think David Norquist, who is the controller for the DoD, said it best, and that being under audit is the new normal at the DoD and for government vendors. So what we're doing here is we're using a mechanism, the IUID label, to be able to allow the government to track all of the assets that are out there. And there are millions of assets throughout the world under the DoD umbrella. You have government furnished property, obviously. You have new acquisition items. The IUID label is the tool that's being used, or the driving force, to allow the DoD and the government to be able to track all these assets. And there are other initiatives. Perhaps some of our listeners have heard of FIAR, the Financial Improvement in Audit Readiness Factor. IUID labels are a huge tool in being able to comply with that initiative. So the other thing to consider, if you want to do business with the DoD, is this is what the DoD is requiring of their vendors. And to be able to apply these labels, fully compliant labels, to these assets is how the government is going to rate their vendors. Are the vendors complying with this initiative? And if they are, they're going to continue to do business with them. But if they're not, they're going to look elsewhere. So it's to everyone's benefit to be able to follow this guideline, and not only follow it, but follow it correctly. And that's what we're going to highlight, some of those key areas today.
Yes, and if I could add too, that the label itself, this unique identifier, which is in fact a global license plate for that given asset, is also a key field that needs to be loaded as far as the data load into the IUID registry, which now comes from IRAPT, right?
Absolutely.
So now you have the combination of these government systems that need this IUID data, and of course the physical barcode has to be associated with that correct asset when that data gets reported through to the government.
100% correct.